Well, you literally have to go back to 2011 as we talk about sort of the history of what's happened with the Hot Springs VA facility. The administration made a decision that they wanted to realign it, was a nice way of putting it, but for all intents and purposes to close down the Hot Springs facility.
Bad news for Veterans West River. This afternoon the VA announced a list of proposals that will effectively close the Veterans Administration Hospital in Hot Springs.
I'm just afraid if we lose the VA and the people lose their jobs, and this town's going to shrivel up.
Every time you lose some kind of service at the VA, something else closes up. You know, we're the veterans town.
The ball is in now VA Secretary Shinseki's court. South Dakota's delegation met on Monday with the secretary. Senator John Thune said he felt the secretary was at least listening and showed willingness to work with them.
We're going to continue to do everything we can to see that the community of Hot Springs, our veterans most importantly, are treated fairly. Hot Springs is the veterans town. It's had that reputation for some time.
Veteran, I am vehemently opposed to any closure of the Hot Springs Hospital.
This fight literally has been going on for years. We have been trying through 2 administrations and 4 VA secretaries to get the VA secretary to come to Hot Springs, to visit the facilities, to meet with our veterans, and I can't tell you how hard it was. It took letters, it took phone calls, it took meetings, and finally we got a VA secretary to come to South Dakota and to see up close and personal and witness firsthand the important work that's done in Hot Springs.
Like the future of veterans health care around the Black Hills, bringing out the heavy hitters, Nome, Thune, Rounds, Johnson, and the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, all to the VA hospital in Hot Springs today.
Money going into the meetings, we didn't know what was going to come out of it. But when we came out of that meeting and after we'd had an opportunity to try and weigh in and make sure that the voices of the community were heard, we couldn't have been not only more surprised, but we were obviously thrilled when we heard the secretary step up in front of the microphones on Monday and say that this facility is not going to close.
It's been a hot topic in Hot Springs, the closing of the VA hospital. Monday morning, VA Secretary Robert Wilkie announced that they will take another look at the plan.
It was a very welcome message, and I think it happened as a result of his being able to see firsthand and up close and personal the work being done at the VA, the unique setting, the beautiful facility, the way that veterans are cared for there, the commitment of the staff to taking care of the veterans, the buy-in from the community of Hot Springs. All those, I think, were factors in influencing Secretary Wilkie to indicate his commitment to seeing that this becomes a place where veterans can continue to be served, where they have access to the types of medical treatment and healing that can get them back on their feet.
The most important thing, and the governor and I have talked about this quite a bit, enhancing the facilities here, making sure that they are stable.
And perhaps going forward, how we might be able to provide some funding to upgrade and modernize some of their facilities so they can do it better.
So we were thrilled to finally have gotten him there and to come out of it with an entirely different view based on what he'd seen and what he'd heard. That's what this has been all about for a long time, is trying to get the VA just to listen to the veterans in the region and in South Dakota and in the veterans town, which is Hot Springs, South Dakota.